Hello everybody. Real quick here. Wow, I'm recording already. Okay, let's do this. Alright, so yeah, this was a good game that I played against a fellow by the name of Grumble Duke. And his rating was 1307 and mine was 1265, so he was slightly rated higher than me. Anyway, this is a Rook Endgame with two Rooks on his second rank, and that's what won me the game, even though I was down 2 pawns, which I basically positionally sacrificed to get the Rooks on the 7th. Alright, anyway, here we go. So I kicked it off with e4. Whoa, 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 not so quick. Oh my god, what is it doing here? Let's go back. Okay. Anyway, I played e4, and e4 is pretty much the best calculated move by chess engines these days, and it's not by much compared to the queen pawn or knight f3, or even even the dunst is still okay. The English Opening is pretty much equal as far as the computers is concerned. Well, no, not really. Anything other than the king pawn is worth about 0.12 of a pawn, and the queen pawn is worth 0.2, and the king pawn is worth about 0.28. So the king pawn is slightly better. Anyway, I prefer the Scotch Opening. It is the most straightforward and standard opening in my opinion. It's kind of an alternative to the Ruy Lopez, and it's the same as playing an open Sicilian as well. So it's pretty main opening. Alright, so he kicks it off with e5, pretty much the best response. The Sicilian's also very good. So I play knight f3, not giving him any options. He's got to protect this king pawn. He protects it with the c6 knight. I could play the Ruy Lopez here, but instead, like I said, I played the Scotch Opening. Very good opening. He took, I took, and instead of him taking back here with the knight, which is a little okay, but more preferably he played queen to f6. This, I believe, is one main line that's available. My daughter is outside doing something. Anyway, yeah, so he's attacking my knight. I guard it with the bishop. Could have also guarded with knight, or with pawn to c3, which I have to do anyway. He plays bishop to c5. Good move. This dude definitely knows how to play this opening. I can tell by his move order that he knows the main lines. So I played c3 to protect the knight, and then he takes, which I was kind of relieved. It kind of relieved some of the tension, and get the rest of this game going here. Also, if you notice, him taking is a forcing move. He's forcing me to take back, so it pretty much a good move by him, taking right there, and just an opportune moment to get these exchanges over with. So I took back with the pawn, thinking that I had these two center pawns. Also could have took back with the bishop and ended up with pretty much the same thing. But anyway, that forces him to move his bishop back, which is a good move. And, oh my god, my little girl's crying. Hold on one second, I'll be back. Oh my goodness, little Madison. Woo! Don't cry, Daddy's got you. Alright, so I forced his bishop to move back. His bishop's on a pretty good square, honestly. And then I played bishop to c4. The benefit of the Scotch Opening is that it does just that. It opens up the center, it opens up the game, and both your bishops can come out right away. That's what I like about the Scotch, opposed to the Ruy Lopez, which I think is a little overrated, although the computer does like it very much. And there's definitely something to the Ruy Lopez, but the Scotch, you just gotta love it. So anyway, he played d6 here, and I'm not really sure if that's the best move at the moment, but it sure does look good because he's trying to get his light squared bishop out into the game. Basically, could have probably transposed. There's a lot of candidate moves here for him. So anyway, yeah, he played d6, which is a pretty good move by him. I castled. He played bishop to, let's see here, what is that, e6, okay. And, you can tell right here that my light squared bishop doesn't want to retreat. Why would it go anywhere? It's on its best square at the moment. So instead of, retreating the bishop, just take, forcing move, making sure that he doesn't get any time to prepare for any type of attack. Takes back with the queen here, I play knight to c3. As you can see, 2 of my minor pieces are on the 3rd rank, and both of my D and my E pawn are out there. Ideal pawn center, pieces on the 3rd rank. It's looking pretty good for me. I haven't had any trouble in this opening, and he as well also has had a pretty comfortable opening, so I can tell that this game is going to go on for another couple moves here at least. So anyway, he played knight to e7, which I can pretty much say that's probably the best move because I'm not threatening anything, so he's free to develop. He could have castled queenside. Let's see what he does. Anyway, I kick his queen, another forcing move. Not giving him any time to plan or accumulate any type of attack. He plays queen to g6, pinning my queen to this pawn here. So I gotta watch out. I gotta remember that this is going on and that this pin is there. But I know from experience that it's not immediately hurting me. But as you can see here, I have a forcing move that I just unleashed with that pawn move. Bishop takes, doubling his pawns. Okay, so now I got to worry about this rook on his A file. And actually, I think in the game I end up just not even caring about it. Losing a pawn at this point, if I have a good enough attack, is not going to be a problem. I'll be able to, at least checkmate him, or at least regain my material with a forcing line. So I play rook to e1, basically preparing to take control of the center, and as you notice, his king is still on the e file, which he probably castles here. I'm not even sure, but I would. Yes, he does castle. Wow, I was right. Okay, anyway, I don't know what I play here. I haven't reviewed this game in a while. Okay, so I push the e pawn, so I play e5. The point here is that it's guarded by the rook, and that if he takes, I'm just gaining space and preparing to double my rooks on the e file. He takes, I take with the rook. He plays knight to f5, pretty much a good move. I mean, what else would you play here? He's got to move the knight, and that's probably the best square for the knight, approaching my king. And now he has threats like knight to h4, which is a legitimate threat. If you played knight to h4, I'd have to do something about that. So then I pin his knight to his queen. He plays knight to g4, which just I didn't even know that was going to happen. That's just a threat, and any good chess player is going to see that move. So he made that move that I just thought of, and of course it also guards the queen, which I take. Exchange queens. Now he plays knight. His knight's now on g5 or g6. Whoa! What did I do here? Is that my move? Yes. So I play rook back to e4, kind of boxing out the knight. His knight is now has less available moves because of this rook boxing him out. He plays rook to d8, rook from f to d8, and he's attacking my d pawn on d5. But really, is that the best move here? It's hard to say. When you have to make kind of moves like that, it's hard to say what's the best move. Maybe he could have even played rook. He could have played rook to e8 maybe, and just straight up attack my rook, which is guarded by my knight. So maybe that was a wrong move. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like a very strong move, that's for sure. It's not doing much. So anyway, I double up my rooks on the e file, and I can tell at this point that if he budges or moves his rooks anywhere but the back rank, I'm gonna it's gonna spell trouble for him. I just got to get that knight out of the way. So he plays pawn to c6. I take, and now he gets undoubled pawns, but I still have the initiative. So I played g3 here, and the benefit of g3 is just that it has an escape square for the king, and also boxes out the knight even further. And then he plays f5, attacking my rook. No big problem. Just move my rook back to e2. Now, if there was a light squared bishop, I probably would have moved my rook back to e3, because you want to keep your rooks off of the bishop color. Anyway, so he advances his pawn. I play my rook now to e6. So maybe I wasted a move, but then again, now that his pawns are less flexible, I know that the c pawn on c6 is now a weakness for him, so I'm attacking that, and he attacks my knight. And I thought about maybe even sacrificing my knight here, but there's real no good reason to. So I move my knight back to D1. He advances his pawns further, and I'm really not worried about these pawns on A2 and B2. I'm just pretty much ready to sacrifice them to get my rooks in a very aggressive spot, which I do here in a bit. And I play knight to E3. Like I said, I need to get rid of his knight, so I'm you know, kind of threatening to do that here soon. I'm also threatening his F5 pawn, and he attacks my knight, and I move my knight out of the way, and he takes, I take back. So my pawn structure for my king side is still okay and playable, but if it gets wrecked anymore, my king's gonna be in trouble. So my pawn structure is, you know, still defensively holding up, but it could soon fall to pieces. So I got to be careful here. I know that this game could turn into a disaster at any moment, so I'm playing very accurate moves. He takes, I play knight to E7, check, another forcing move. He has to take with the knight pretty much, and then I take back with the rook. Now this is the first rook I get on his 7th rank. He takes my other pawn, my next pawn. All right, so I sacrificed 2 pawns for this this line that I'm doing here. And now, as you can see, I'm getting ready to double my rooks on his 7th rank. This is not good for him. Okay, so I played rook to C7. He played rook to C2, and then I played rook to E7. 2 of my rooks are on his 7th rank. He's not looking too happy right here. He plays king to F8, and I check him. And then after a series of checks with these rooks, this goes on for many moves here. The thing is that I just have complete control of the game, and this was a timed match. It was a 15-minute game with 10 seconds bonus time. And then he tries to double his rooks on my 7th rank, but it's not going to work out for him today, because after I play rook to C7, what's he going to do? I'm about to checkmate him. So he has to defend the checkmate, and there's really nothing he can do here. There's absolutely nothing he can do. In fact, his best move probably would have been king to G8, but he didn't play that. Instead, he played rook to D8, and I checkmated him. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.